how would you define the genre of music you play? First with Dillinger, maybe, and then eventually, well, mostly with Dillinger.
Fusion? I mean, I keep it broad. You know, it's... I always loved Jaco Pastorius had this, punk jazz, which it's not quite that, but I'm kind of reaching for that kind of terminology. But yeah, I don't know. I would say fusion is the most appropriate and safe. I mean, it's metal. It's like within the metal category, but it's, it's kind of a black hole of influence. There's really nothing that doesn't get sucked in some capacity. Even the bad stuff gets in there,
How do you prepare just before going on stage?
In a very pedestrian way, even just like changing out of my clothes, I would say is like the one start. It's kind of like, even though I wouldn't exactly call it a lab coat, there's something to be said about a doctor putting on the lab coat, as opposed to not putting on the lab coat and telling you the same diagnosis. For some reason, the lab coat makes you feel like it's more real.
I understand that very much.
And for me too, it's kind of, I don't know whether I'm taking a costume off or putting one on, but and then it's kind of a mix of, as far as our conversation is concerned. I usually try to meditate at least like, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how much time I actually have. I try to get that process going like an hour before I really need to do anything. So, I usually meditate. It's kind of a, for the most part, it's a, transcendental meditation. I have a mantra. For the most part, I do a TM-inspired meditation. I don't really go too much further into it.
How does that help you?
Again, I don't know if some of it is simply like psychosomatic, where it's just become part of my ritual.
And
it's addition to the ritual, whether it's actually doing anything or not. The fact that I give it a placebo effect, to me, makes me feel like it's doing something. But I do feel like it does something. It's kind of like aiming my bow and arrow. And then when the meditation is over, I let go of the arrow. So in some ways, it just kind of makes me feel like I'm focusing my brain. I'm kind of, as much as I possibly can, emptying my trash can on my desktop, or at least like putting my toys away so that I can, go do what I have to do and not feel like things are kind of left just scattered. Like my day is not just scattered across the field of my mind.
In that short documentary I saw, and the link I sent you on YouTube, you mentioned white noise and binaural beat. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about it, but my discussion will stay pretty superficial.
It's okay.
I guess in some sense, again, I'm just kind of putting faith into it, but not depending on it. I do think there may be something to, the hemi-sync.
Yes, I read a bit about the binaural beats.
I mean, maybe that works. I'm really not a physicist, so I don't, or a neuroscientist or anything. It works for me at the very least because I'm usually meditating in very loud environments. So it helps me kind of shut that down. But I've since, I have a new phone and I didn't put those on my phone. And now I kind of, and of course it's distracting at times, and of course I do find myself getting pulled out of my meditation more, but I don't mind meditating in loud environments anymore, and it's kind of helping me find the peace even there. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm trying to make it difficult for myself, but I can enjoy having to try even harder to focus. Because, I guess in a sense that's, sort of what, music is. It's like this intense focus, and at the same time, I'm trying to like nod out. I kind of just want to get to the point where I'm just kind of witnessing myself doing it and not actively thinking about doing it. And I guess meditation just helps me get there. It's almost like a scent that I train my dog to. That kind of place, that like state of mind, that serenity or clarity I just kind of try, as I'm playing or in difficult situations another time in my life, I kind of hope that my brain, will go hunt down that scent and bring me back to that place, without much prompting.
Has this pre-show ritual, this way of preparing before a concert, has this evolved over time? Or how did you come to adopt, meditation and all this sort of things? Was it there from the beginning?
No. My pre-show ritual used to be like a lot of warming up on my instrument. And then, not to say I don't still warm up, but maybe it's because I'm a better player but I feel way more comfortable about the material. I don't feel like I have to, warm up to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
So there's not as much of that, and I also feel like my ego has less to prove. So, you know what I mean? I don't really feel like I need to make sure I'm at my best every night, or people are going to be bummed. It's like, that's not what it's about. I'm communicating something much bigger. So, and then over the years, that turned into, a mix of that and, physical yoga poses. Because Dillinger is a very physical band. So I felt like I needed to warm my body up more than my hands. And then, and then it just kind of turned into, again, it became more about warming up my mind and my body. And most importantly, my mind. So I don't really do a whole lot of, my bass is usually on stage when I get there, as opposed to other guys in my band are backstage kind of warming up with their instruments and walk on with it. I kind of feel like I'm about to spend an hour with my instrument anyway. Why don't I kind of enjoy the time without it? And almost really look forward to it. I can't wait to get up there and play that bass. The fact that it's so far away just makes it that much more like forbidden fruit. And that's not to say that it would be that way in every band. I'm not sure how John Frum or any other project. It's not like I'm tied to that master or anything. It's just kind of how the Dillinger pre-show thing has evolved.
Did you notice a change in your performance when you incorporated meditation and all of these pre-show rituals?
More so in my attitude about it. I don't know if I'm just a better player or I'm more comfortable. All I know is that whatever I'm doing on a cumulative, like index stock fund, all of these stocks are doing good. Or if something's not giving me the returns I want, I don't notice because I'm still up on my investment. I don't know if it's my diet or my meditation or my, the fact that I'm a dad or the fact that I'm just older or the fact that I've just been playing bass for 25 years and feel, I don't know. But it all seems to cumulatively add up to something that makes me feel like I am, I'll go into a bigger analogy here. I kind of feel like the creative process has a lot to do with just expanding the artery for which the creative energy flows. And I think when you're younger and a less experienced artist, that artery is very, maybe a quarter-inch thick. And as you grow and age and with experience, you're just kind of stretching it out so that you can kind of conduct more of that energy. And, in some ways, I'm the artery and the thing stretching it.
While on tour, what, if any, what I call external aspect, do you think have an impact on your performance? External aspect like hours of driving, lack of sleep, or...
sleep, diet. For me personally, how much... I kind of demand a lot of alone time. I don't know if it's, only childness or just being an independent kind of person. I do need to spend a decent amount of time. And decent could be even like just I'm going to go take a walk and get a coffee, and maybe I'm just going to go eat dinner by myself. I have absolutely no issue or feel weird about doing things by myself. I think that in some ways that allows me to kind of defrag my brain. So I think, all the things you mentioned, sleep, diet, what city I'm in, the crowd, whether I did something cool that day in that city.
Yeah.
You know, if I saw something inspiring, then I feel like that kind of just glues me to that spot in a way.
Okay, one last question. While you are on stage, do you take anything during the show to help you with your performance? Water?
I smoke weed, not really on stage, but occasionally, I play high, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, I also drink, kind of moderately.
Okay.
I'm kind of more of like a beer snob, like I like craft beer.
Yeah.
So, occasionally I may be in a town where there's a really cool bar, or like a friend of mine who also enjoys beer, and I have a beer or two before I play. I used to be more up in my head about that, and I used to be more careful.
Yeah.
But again, I almost feel like, of course there's a limit, but
Yeah.
I almost feel like at this point I could go on stage, and when I am up there, it's not even like I'm the person that I was 10 minutes ago anyway. It's like I walk through some weird like Jetsons portal, and I just kind of become this other thing for a minute.
Yeah.
And not to say, again, that my sobriety level doesn't translate, but sometimes it translates in other ways where I may have a more physical, cathartic, energetic show if I had a drink or two in me. I may be a little bit more contemplative and focused, and maybe I throw in some improvisational things that I don't usually do when I'm high. I'm not sure that I would be a better player if I was sober every night. I probably would be. But in my enjoyment of it and my ability to kind of disconnect and tap into what I think is like a bigger muse, I become more of a medium for something, and I'm not really responsible. I'm just kind of translating up there. Technically, on stage, there's usually water up there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even always drink that. And this kind of goes back to like doing a lot of Bikram yoga. I try not to drink water on stage because it just takes energy for my body to actually digest and process. I try to stay really hydrated before I go on stage, and then the second I get off stage, I'm like guzzling coconut water and juices and just replenishing myself.
Yeah.
So, I don't even always have time between songs to tune, let alone,
Yeah.
get my water. We kind of blitz through our sets.
Yeah.
So